What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Thursday's late night agenda. It's not so late tonight. The reason is I'm going to do a watch along of the Chelsea West Bromwich Albion game or the Leicester West Bromwich Albion game, for those who want to come and join me. I'll be doing that after this stream over on our second channel, Mundo Sport. Look, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot to get through tonight. You've seen the title of the stream, and that is what I'm being told. I've reached out to a couple of journalists. I've been reading everything that I can get my hands on as well over the past 24 and 48 hours. We wondered what the stance would be from Liverpool's owners. Well, it looks like that they're battening down the hatches and they're staying put. That's the input that I've been given anyway. Now, there is a lot to go through, as I said. We'll look at this from all different perspectives. We'll talk about the transfer window. We will, of course, have a little look ahead to the game against Newcastle as well, and lots of other bits and pieces. But firstly, I hope you're all enjoying the good weather if you're in the UK and Ireland. I can't speak for elsewhere in the world because I'm sure it's sunny if you're in some sunny places. But over here it's been nice to get out into the back garden, get some sun on the skin and try and just de-stress a little bit. I know a lot of people in the chat are angry and I'm still fuming, ladies and gentlemen. But we do have football and matters to get back to. And the protests that will be taking place, whether they be at Old Trafford, whether they be at Carrington, whether they be at Anfield, whether they be at the AXA training facility at Kirby or the Emirates, wherever they might be, they'll take place. And supporters groups will have their say, fans will have their say, but ultimately right now we have a game on Saturday to look forward to and get in mind for, because that's what we're all here for, isn't it? We've had our say and we will continue to have our say, and we won't let this drop. The fans won't let it drop and it won't be forgotten. But we do want to look ahead to the games as well that's coming up. Hello to everybody in the chat. Lovely to see you all. I hope that you're all well. Appreciate you coming in again. And I keep smiling because I keep looking up the top left corner, folks, and it keeps making me happy. I can't believe you've done it for us. A little old channel hitting 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. Honestly, thank you. Look, the word I'm getting is that there's no plans for them to sell. Now, a lot of people have been messaging me and emailing me over the past few days, asking me what's going to happen. Will Jerry Cardinal step forward and maybe look to make a buyout? No, not from what I've been told. He may look at some stage to increase his stakeholding. We know that he owns Toulouse, and if you're wondering who the hell is Jerry Cardinal, he is part of that Red Bird acquisition, the people that bought 10% of FSG's holdings that included LeBron James and stuff. He is part of that group. So, he does own Toulouse. And the plan was for Liverpool to put out this franchise of clubs, to have feeder clubs, to have sister clubs around Europe. I don't know where any of those plans lay at the minute. We have seen the apology from John W. Henry. As I said to you guys last night, I've given you my opinion on it. I'm not going to try and force my opinion down anybody else's throat. It's up for everybody to make up their own mind. I've seen a couple of people on Twitter and other places who very much differ from my opinion of it. And again, my opinion of it was that I don't buy it. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe... And look, I'm somebody who has been very balanced on FSG over their ownership of Liverpool. If you go back and watch any of my streams, I am certainly not somebody who was an FSG out merchant. I was very understanding of the mistakes that they made. I was very understanding of the good stuff that they've done. But for me, that apology was complete horseshit. And those who I've seen have vested interests on social media who've said it's not so bad, they all want one thing, and that's access. And I'm not talking about big fan accounts, by the way. I'm talking about little podcasts and stuff like that. We all know the truth. We know the truth. They don't give a shit about the fans. They only want money. That's what it is. At the end of the day, will they try and make some things right? Perhaps over the coming weeks and months we might see. Well, we've already seen the links, haven't we, to the likes of Jadon Sancho. We've heard the stories about the Canada deal perhaps being pushed through on the 1st of May and lots of other stuff as well. Excuse me. One really interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to draw your attention to is punishment, because that's something that I keep getting asked. What's the punishment going to be? What's the punishment going to be in the Premier League? What's the punishment going to be in Europe? I feel I've got more of a grasp about what could potentially be coming our way in the Premier League. Now, I'll touch on the Champions League potential or the UEFA potential punishment a little bit down the channel, or a little bit down the stream, but for now, let's concentrate on what could potentially happen to Liverpool with regards to the Premier League. Do I see a fine coming our way? No, I really don't. Do I see expulsion or a points deduction? No, I don't, and here's why. As has been pointed out by ourselves, by Gary Neville, by Jamie Carragher, by every fan channel and supporters club out there, this has got nothing to do with the players, the fans, the managers or the staff. It's to do with the greed of a very, very small handful of people. So why should the greater masses be punished? Now, what's starting to happen is this. You've seen today that Richard Masters, the chief executive of the Premier League, has already been making people, let's just say, stand down or be forcibly removed from certain committees or subcommittees that they sit on. For instance, Tom Werner is part of the broadcast subcommittee that looks into the selling the TV rights and stuff like that for the Premier League. So he's going to be asked to stand down. Arsenal's chairman is going to be asked to stand down. So they're going to be removed from these positions of influence that are they're subjected to sensitive information, stuff that they could have used. I don't know if they did or did not, but they could have used as ammunition to help the Super League. They could have got a good grip on what the television rights are going to be. All these little bits and pieces to help influence these big decisions in the Premier League. It looks like, much as in UEFA, these people are going to be asked to step down from these executive boards and these subcommittees, which I think is a good place to start, if I'm being honest with you. John Gleeson said, "Up the Villa, proud of you, Craig. Stand with MUFC, protest Villa Blues, Celtic Rangers, Royal United, no ESL." Thank you, John, by the way. But the really interesting thing there, and I said it before, is this was no ESL. Don't get lost in that first letter. This was just a Super League. Because the plan here was for this Super League to grow. May well do what's going to happen over in America, because it's looking very likely down the line we'll see an MLS and a Mexican league combination, or what's it called, Mexican LX or Mexican League. I don't know what the Mexican League is called over there, but it looks like they could be combining at some point. So the plan was that this would become more of a World Super League and lead towards the Club World Cup model. That's what this plan was. It was going to start out as a Super League with European clubs, but it wasn't going to end there. It was going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Now, a couple of the presidents have dug their heels in. Florentino Perez and Juan Laporta are still part of this Super League. They're still holding on. Juan Laporta of Barcelona said that the ultimate decision will be down to the socios, Barcelona's members. But he was kind of signed up to this before he came back as Barcelona president. His predecessor had originally agreed to take part in the Super League. We've seen the chairman of the Liga come out and say that it's dead in the water, but Florentino Perez keeps digging his heels in. And if you want to know why, it goes back to the original reason I believe that they'd started this: greed. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, all in a whole load of financial trouble. The clubs have not been run well. They've been spending a lot more than they've been bringing in. Even in the likes of the Liga, where Real Madrid and Barcelona get better TV rights revenue than any of the other clubs. Still not enough for the greedy pigs. Still not enough. They still want a bigger share of the pie. If those of you watched my interview with Graham Hunter yesterday, esteemed Spanish football journalist, he would have told you that the plan was for Real Madrid to use some of this money from the formation of the Super League to go out there this summer to try and get Haaland and Mbappe, both of them, as well as, of course, the new Santiago Bernabeu that's been renovated. I say new, it's going to be a new look Santiago Bernabeu that's been renovated at a cost of about 500 million. So Real Madrid are in a load of trouble, and this was Florentino Perez's legacy. The Santiago Bernabeu was named after, one of the greatest presidents in in Real Madrid's history, and he wanted his name to go down alongside that. He wanted his name to go down as the greatest Real Madrid president of all time. He is already a multi-billionaire himself, but he doesn't own Real Madrid. That's the really important part here. Real Madrid fans will have the ultimate say, I believe. What else have we got? What did you make of John Henry's apology? Again, I said it at the start of the stream. It wasn't an apology to me. It was an empty PR vessel. So you look at the yellow roses beside him. Supposed to be a calming effect. Supposed to make us feel sorry for the frail old man. The position of the camera looking down on John W. Henry. His look up to the camera like a half-arsed apology, like he's a frail old man that didn't really know what he was doing. The wood effect in the background, the calming effect of that. All of this was a PR stunt. I did not see any emotion whatsoever. Now, people are going to say to me, and rightly so, that businessmen like John W. Henry, that have been into financial backgrounds, that make money, they're trained to take emotion out of their decisions. And I understand that. But that's not how football works. That's not how football in Europe works. So he may be trained to take passion out of his decisions or emotion out of his decisions. That's fair enough. But that doesn't work in football. So to those that bought that apology, I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't believe a single goddamn word of it. Because he wasn't thinking about the fans when he called us legacy fans. He wasn't thinking about the fans when we were called stakeholders. He wasn't thinking about the fans when he went ahead and signed up to this without any consultation whatsoever. No thought for the fans. The first acknowledgement and apology that came out of the club, no mention of the fans. So this, does he deserve credit for fronting up? Yes. He does deserve credit for fronting up and sitting in front of a camera. He's the only one that has done it. So for that, yes, he does get credit. But there's going to be a lot of spin now. There's going to be a lot of stuff trying to rebuild faith with the fans. There's going to be a lot of goodwill PR put out there. And if this ends up in us going out there and making a couple of signings this summer that makes our team stronger, great. Because that's what we as fans care about. We care about Klopp, the players, the fans. That's the most important thing to us. So I don't feel that we're going to see John W. Henry and FSG sell Liverpool anytime soon. I think that they're going to sit in the background more. There might be a few changes from within the structure of the club. But at least John W. Henry did take ownership of the situation. And at least he did say it was entirely down to him. And that Billy Hogan and Jurgen Klopp, another executive, had absolutely no clue what was going on. Delwyn, how are you, my friend? Good evening, Craig. Lovely weather today here in Wales. There will be an FSG out protest on Saturday 11 a.m. at Anfield outside Spread the Message. Those that want to do it, I ask you to do it carefully. I ask you to keep in mind that we're still in COVID times. Make sure you wear your mask. If you've been vaccinated, doesn't matter. Make sure that you do it as safely as possible for your own health and, of course, for the health of others and your loved ones who may be a bit more prone to the virus. So if you are going to do it, that is your right. Absolutely. Make sure you sing loud, sing proud, get what you want to say out there, but do it as safely as possible. And yeah, legacy fan and proud, said Cedric. That is the one phrase, mate, that's really got to me during all this. And I know Jack Gill, who you recognise from the channel as well and our podcast, it's the phrase that really got to him as well. It just goes to show that little cultural divide, doesn't it, between the European game and the American game, or the models of clubs. And I would have thought that after 10 or 11 years of ownership that FSG and John W. Henry would have understood the differences. They've made this mistake before and they said lesson learned. Clearly isn't. And as I said when I spoke to Graham Hunter yesterday and he agreed, this isn't the end of the Super League. This isn't the end of these clubs trying to wrestle a bigger share of the pie. Now what happens with the new UEFA Champions League system? It looks a little bit confusing, doesn't it? An increase of teams. Each team will play 10 games. Then 1 to 8 in this league table of 36 or whatever it is teams will go off and make their way to the quarterfinals. And then 9th to 24th will play each other or whatever it is in a knockout round. And then they'll go through to a last 16 and then yada yada yada. It just seems overly complicated and I don't like the Swiss model one bit. It's actually giving the bigger clubs what they want yet again. So this has to be a time, I think, where football really looks at itself. Maybe it's time for the Premier League and the FA to look at things. Maybe it's time for some government intervention. I don't know. There are people far more intelligent than me and far more up on what's going on than me that will make these decisions. But I'm just happy that we're not going to be relegated out of the Premier League, that we're not going to be kicked out of the Champions League for the next 10 years. Now, we may get a sanction. As I said at the very start of the video, I have more confidence of what I know will happen in the Premier League. UEFA are having a meeting, I think, on Friday, which is tomorrow. And this meeting is going to be very, very interesting. Because as we know, Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal and Manchester United have all stepped away. All the 6 English clubs have stepped away from the Super League. But as things stand, Barcelona and Real Madrid's name is still attached to that document. So will UEFA take the stand of kicking Real Madrid out of the Champions League tomorrow? It's going to be a very, very interesting day, ladies and gentlemen. Because what will happen then? Will Chelsea get a bye into the final? I wouldn't be against it, to be honest with you, because at least the English clubs, in fairness to them, backed away and have apologised. Kefren, the president or the UEFA, I don't know if he's president, but the UEFA front man, let's just say, because I don't know what his exact job title is. He said he's received calls from 5 of the 6 English clubs to apologise. They should give them penalties. Again, Vishal, I don't disagree with you, Vishal, my man, but what are the penalties? Because should the fans and the players be punished and the staff? They know nothing about it. So it is a difficult one, but I said at the very start, what I've seen and what I've been told is that it's going to be a case of Richard Masters in the Premier League asking a lot of these chairmen to step away from their roles in their subcommittees, influential committees, whether it be about broadcasting rights, whether it be about any other things Premier League related, fixture congestion, maybe dropping the Carabao Cup. A lot of these big boys sit on panels that are influential decision makers in the Premier League. So they're going to be asked to step down, and that includes Tom Werner, or they will be removed from their positions. I think they're trying to let them try and save face first. So let's wait and see what happens. But I don't envision a situation where Liverpool get docked points. Because let's not kid ourselves either. The Premier League need the big 6 clubs. The Champions League need these clubs. So these clubs know that they have something that's needed. But at the same time, we have to redress the balance. We have to stand up and let it be known. And I was so glad because we could have all just ran with this and gone, oh yeah, that's great. We'll have loads of money, best players in the world. We'll be playing Real Madrid, Barcelona. We'll be doing this, that. But none of us wanted it because we knew it was wrong from the get-go. We knew it's not what European football and the English game is about. Jens said LFC should get a penalty. And by LFC you mean Manchester United, LFC, Chelsea, mate. I know you're a United fan here saying Liverpool should get a penalty, but what about the other 5 English clubs? So, you're entitled to your say, mate. No, I can't read a tweet about Gundogan for Manchester City, mate, because I don't have my phone open now to look at it. Sorry, you can't stop greed, Craig. I'll tell you what, we may not be able to completely stop it, mate, but we're doing a decent job of at least halting it for the time being. And that's thanks to you guys. That's thanks to all the football fans that came together. So what do we think? What do we think about is going to happen? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I have a feeling we're going to see a signing off the back of this. Call me cynical, but this could be the Operation Win Fans Over exercise. So I'm expecting maybe a Jadon Sancho. I'm expecting a serious signing to come in this summer. But we also have a game coming up the weekend as well. Now, as I said, when I finish this stream in about 20 minutes, I'm going to be going over to Mundo Sporto and I'm going to be doing a watch-along over there of Leicester's game against West Bromwich Albion tonight, because that has massive connotations for the top 4. So I hope you're going to come over and join me for that one. Again, to those of you that are with us for the first time, please take 1 second, hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video. We're 25 subscribers away from 101k. And that was... I know this sounds really odd, but to me that's the point at which I relax a little bit, because you're always worried when you're at 100k that it just drops. So if you have a second, please do hit that subscribe button. As I always say, I don't want your super chats, I don't want any of that stuff, but I do want your comments, I do want to know your thoughts about what's going on, and I do want you to hit that subscribe button. Come on West Brom, said K. Yes, look, it would be great for us tonight if Leicester drop points, but I can't help think back to Monday, folks, when Liverpool played Leeds United and this distraction was around. And Chelsea were in a similar situation, by the way, when they took on Brighton. I can't help but wonder what might have been if we hadn't have had that massive distraction. And this summer, by the way, people talking about transfers, great. I'm happy to get back and talk about transfers. This is the stuff that we as football fans want to be talking about. So, let's look at a couple of players who may be coming into Liverpool or Liverpool are interested in. So, midfield, Gini Wijnaldum looks like he's on his way to Barcelona. It looked like Barcelona, then it looked like Inter Milan, now it's looking like Barcelona all over again. So it looks like he's going to go and join Barcelona. So who comes in to replace him? Well, a lot of people have put a name into the chat already tonight, and that's Yves Bissouma. Somebody that Liverpool have looked at, and somebody who was impressed and shone in Potter's Brighton side this season. I don't know if he's going to be the go-to. Canade I have much more confidence on, because I've seen enough articles from journalists I respect to suggest that that's certainly something that could be close. Now we look at the goalkeeper situation. Is Adrian going to sign on for another season? Again, we've been linked with Erdogan Kakir today, but so had, guess what, 8 other clubs. So, I don't know how serious that is. We come back to the situation around our front 3. Will somebody move on this summer? I don't know. But I tell you what, ladies and gents, I'm absolutely delighted to be back talking about actual football and matters. And we can't let this go away. And we won't let it go away. And we will keep pressure on the owners. But we can't just let it dictate everything as well, because we do have a football club to support. Camavinga, somebody else said. Yes, another player who we've been linked with. Gravenberch from Ajax as well, somebody who Liverpool have been linked with. What do you think of big clubs blocking NUFC's takeover and trying this? Just subscribe, mate. Best fan channel. Thank you. I can address this in 2 ways, James. Firstly, I don't know enough about the Newcastle takeover to say why it was or was not stopped, mate. I honestly don't. Am I a bit surprised that your takeover was blocked? Yeah. Manchester City's was fine. Paris Saint-Germain's was fine. Yes, I am. I don't see what difference that would have made compared to the other clubs who have, let's say, governmental backing. So, I wanted you guys to get rid of Mike Ashley, mate, because I've so much time for the Geordies. And I want you guys to have owners that you deserve. And I want you guys to get a manager back in and have those heroes on the pitch that you back week in and week out. So, if the big 6 clubs were involved in blocking it, then again it just shows one thing, mate, doesn't it? They're scared and they're greedy. So, again, I hope that you get rid of Mike Ashley because you deserve better. And Newcastle fans deserve better. Dembele, somebody said. So are we talking about... No, sorry, Dembele was a different one. Dembele, I've talked to Graham Hunter about this. That's a non-runner. I wouldn't worry about Liverpool signing. If we're talking about Ousmane Dembele of Barcelona, not going to happen. Now, there has been a name that came out today. Hudson Edouard. Somebody who I personally don't think is good enough to come in and play for Liverpool Football Club. But he'll only have 1 year left on his Celtic contract at the end of this season. So it looks like he could be available for 8 to 10 million. Now, would I swap Edouard for Origi? Potentially. But I still think we can do better. I still think a Patson Daka or somebody else will be better. And then we've seen the news today, and a lot of Scottish fans might be aware of this as well. There's been some talk that Celtic and Rangers could come on board with some type of United Kingdom Super League, or I don't know what way they're going to pitch this, and I don't know how it may or may not work. Am I against it? No, not at all. You've already got Welsh clubs that are part of the English FA, and they come in and play in the Premier League if they go up, or play in the Championship. The only problem I would have with it is what happens and how do they come in. Do they expand the league? I sincerely doubt it, because we're already struggling to cover the games we have. Could they put them into the Championship? Well, what do you do then in the Championship? Those clubs already play 46 games a season. So I'd have no problem with Celtic and Rangers coming in and forming part of a revitalised Premier League or whatever. But I would just want to know at the expense of who and how it works. So until we get the actual information on that, I'm kind of going to keep stum on it, because we're talking about redressing the balance and we're talking about fairness. Well, if they do come in, and again, I've nothing against Rangers and Celtic joining up, but I do have a mind for the smaller Premier League clubs, the Championship club, the League One clubs, and how that would work, and how that would look, and how that would affect them. There's no doubt Rangers and Celtic would carry big fan bases into the league, and in my experience, what would happen then to the Scottish League? Do you find, maybe you do some type of Celtic League where you've got the remaining Scottish clubs, League of Ireland clubs, Northern Irish clubs, Welsh clubs, maybe they come together in some type of Celtic Super League, Europa League version or something. I don't know, but it's good that we're seeing a shake-up of football in some ways, because it's needed. The balance needs to be redressed. Will Mbappe happen? Do you know, here's the thing. I've told you that one of the reasons Florentino Perez wanted this Super League was because he wanted Mbappe and Haaland, and he was planning on using the money to do it. Real Madrid and Barcelona are up shit creek financially. You all know that. That's no secret. I've been telling you that for over a year now. So this is a big dagger in the heart of his hopes of bringing in those two superstars. Now, if Real Madrid and Barcelona can't afford them, then who can? City can, Liverpool can, United can. Maybe another English club can. I don't know. But will we sign Mbappe? I would be really, really surprised. Really surprised. Now, the Sancho thing, I'm a bit shocked, a bit taken aback by that link, by the way, that's come out over the past 48 hours as well. Because I've been of the mindset that United had done all the groundwork on that Sancho deal, missed out on him because Dortmund wouldn't sell. It looks like they may be willing to sell this summer. But will they be willing to lose both Haaland and Sancho in the one window without demanding top dollar? Because I'm not aware if Sancho has a release clause in his contract. We know Erling Haaland has a release clause that kicks in, not this summer coming, but the following summer. That's believed to be around 75 million euro, something like that. So we'll wait and see. They have said that Liverpool are looking to offer 100 million euro, which is about 82, 83 million pound, I think, for Jadon Sancho. Again, I can't tell you if that's true or not, but I will ask and I will try and find out for you. Craig, did you shave the goatee? I did. I trimmed it down a bit. There's still a little bit of it there, mate, but you know what I mean? I just thought it looked a bit weird. We were never going to sign Mbappe or Haaland. I never ever spoke about Haaland, by the way. Never. I've never linked Liverpool to Haaland in conversations that I've had on the channel, because from the information I've been given and from his agent and stuff, I never thought we'd be in that race. I thought that his wages would be ridiculous, and that if he was to go this summer, it would be for a fee way above what we'd be willing to pay. So I never thought the Haaland thing was something that was realistic for Liverpool. Again, gents and ladies, if you can take a second, please do hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video. I've got 12 minutes left on tonight's stream, so get your questions in. Anything you want answered, I'll do my best to get to it. Say Maximin would be a good signing for Liverpool. He's only got 23, plenty of years left. He strikes me, or I would put him in the same category with Adama Traore. Undoubted talent, undoubted ability, but I don't know if he's proved himself enough. Now I say that, and I know that people will point to the likes of Van Dijk at Southampton. Had he proved himself enough? I know and I get you. I just don't know, is the honest answer. I don't know if there's better value to be had out there. I don't know how much they'd look for him. I don't know if they'd be willing to sell him. And I haven't genuinely seen him linked to Liverpool outside of fan interest. What is FSG? Fenway Sports Group, the people that own Liverpool Football Club and the Boston Red Sox and a few other outlets. Signing Kane would give us another league win, said Movie Manhunter. Yeah, look, that's a fair point. I mean, He's right in his prime now, Harry Kane. The only issue I would have, apart from the money that Daniel Levy would ask for him, because it's important to remember that he has 3 years left. He signed a 6-year Tottenham Hotspur contract when he had the opportunity to do so. So Daniel Levy is in a pretty strong position there with regards to negotiating with Harry Kane. He's got 3 years left on his deal. So you'd be talking an astronomical amount of money for somebody who, although is an absolute machine for scoring goals and one of the best in Europe, no doubt about it. But he does tend to pick up injuries at vital times in seasons. I can't remember a season where he hasn't missed 2 or 3 spells with injury, particularly towards the latter part of the season. As I say that, he's out right now. So I would think he's more of a possible Manchester United, Manchester City signing than the Liverpool one. But would he do a job for us? Yeah, of course. He'd do a job anywhere. He's an absolutely quality striker. Sancho will cost 85 million. Liverpool have the P's for that. I believe we do, mate. Yes, I absolutely do. Like, we can't understate the impact that the pandemic has had on football finances, but we also have done some very good commercial business. We'll start to see a proper launch, I think, from Nike and the kits that we didn't really get to see last year because of the pandemic. We'll start to see a lot more stuff with maybe crossover and LeBron and stuff like this. Other markets will open up to us, more commercial partnerships. So yeah, I do believe that we have money, mate. And we do know that they sold 10% of FSG for an astronomical amount of money. So yeah, there could be money there. But what we do with it, I don't know. But I do agree with you. We could absolutely afford it. I hope we never get Kane. I don't think we ever will, Tina, to be honest. It's not a name I'd seen linked with Liverpool. Not from fans, anyway. Bellingham is a great show. Now, Jack, Jude Bellingham, Manchester United fought really hard to try and get him before he went to Dortmund. And since he's gone to Dortmund, even at just 17 years of age, as you've rightly said, mate, he's a phenomenon. He really, really is. What a player. Birmingham sold him to Borussia Dortmund, and Dortmund have already turned that lad into a superstar. So, again, like I've said with Haaland, if I'm advising him, I tell him to stay put for another season with Dortmund, continue on his progression. He'd still only be 18 years of age and still go for an astronomical amount of money and still have 13 or 14 years, 15 years maybe, left at the top level of the game. So I think he's got a good head on his shoulders by the looks of it, young Bellingham, and I think he'll develop just nicely, and I don't think he's somebody that they'd look to cash in on. We have also been linked at the time with Gio Reyna of Dortmund, so don't forget about that one as well. I could see us going for Neves, to be honest. I think that ship has sailed. Now, Neves has links to Liverpool via Pep Linders, who coached him at Sporting Lisbon for 6 years at underage level, helped bring him through. I think if we're to look at players from Wolves, I mean, to me, probably Neto is the most likely. If you were to look at a player from Wolves, there's going to be a lot of interesting business done this summer, and I'm glad we're back here talking about it. By the way, Bissouma to replace Gini and Malin from PSV. Again, 2 good shouts. Bissouma, I wouldn't at all be surprised if we signed Yves Bissouma. I wouldn't. I think that makes sense in a lot of ways. Malin, who people don't know from PSV, is a young striker who's had a very good season. Always difficult to gauge talent in the Dutch league because it's not the highest of standards, albeit we got Luis Suarez from there, so there are diamonds to be had from there. Patson Daka was another one who had been linked with. Houssam Aouar's name has been floated around a little bit. So Luis Suarez's name, heck, that's even been thrown around a little bit, and I've been part of that conversation as well, because he could potentially leave Atletico on a free this summer, and heaven knows where he goes. Mexican league is called Liga MX. Thank you, mate. I knew it was something along those lines, but yes, thank you, Paddy. Appreciate that. Malin is class, apparently. I've seen a lot of good things. Jesse said, Ismail Assar, I wonder with Watford coming back up, though, will they want to sell him? Do you know what I mean? They're going to have plans to not want to be a yo-yo club, and they're going to want to stay in the Premier League. And in fairness to Sarr, nobody bought him when they went down. So, I don't know. He's somebody we looked at and somebody who we did make an inquiry about before we signed Diogo Jota, but I think we were met with a price tag that was 1, higher than we valued him, and 2, that they wanted a lot of the money up front. The Pozzi family obviously owned an Italian club, Udinese I think it is as well. We need a number 10. It's interesting. I'm not ignoring it, James. I'm just processing it, mate. We need a number 10, yes, but I would argue we need a number 9 as well, mate. So, for me, no, Jota, they can play in a 10, I think. Maybe you can push somebody else further forward. Curtis Jones. There are options. I do agree with you. I do think we need more attacking options from midfield. Pedro Concaleves, is that how you pronounce his name? From Sporting is a must-buy, somebody else said. Would I sign Olmo from Leipzig? No, I don't think he's good enough. Now, we had been linked with Leipzig's captain, Sabitzer, who I also don't think is good enough for Liverpool, if I'm being honest with you. But do we have any money at all? Yes. Again, of course we have money. They'll hide behind the pandemic and stuff, but Liverpool Football Club is generating an awful lot of money. And with FSG having sold a 10% stake, they do have money at their disposal. Now, what they do with that is entirely up to them. They could invest it in the Red Sox, they could invest it in Liverpool, they could buy another sports team, they could look to buy, I don't know, form another company and get more image rights to players. There's lots of different things that they could do with it. Congrats on 100k subs on to 1 mil. Nah, Harry, I dare not think about numbers that big, mate. As I've always said to you, the 100k was it for me. Anything after that's a bonus. Ivan Toney is a really good shout, Callum, because he's done great numbers this season with Brentford in the Championship, has earned the right to go up through the divisions and proved himself every step of the way. And I wouldn't at all be surprised to see somebody take a gamble on Ivan Toney, if it even is a gamble. Because we spoke with the Peterborough owner and chairman Darren McAnthony a few months back on the channel. He had him at Peterborough for a while. He absolutely sung his praises and thinks that it would be ridiculous if someone didn't take a gamble on him. He even hinted that Liverpool may take a gamble on him. Now, I don't know if that's just because he has goodwill towards the fella or because maybe he knows something I don't. I'm sure he knows a lot of stuff I don't, to be honest. There's a few ridiculous shouts in here. Calvert-Lewin. Do you really see Liverpool and Everton doing business with their best player, mate? Donny van de Beek. No, he'll stay put at United. What do I think of Arizabal? Don't know too much about him, to be honest with you, mate. I think we need a typical big physical number 9. I would say to you that that's not really a system Klopp pays, but he did bring in Lewandowski, didn't he, when he was at Dortmund? So, Sabitzer is good, you don't know. Go fuck yourself. Simple as that, Lewis. I didn't say Sabitzer wasn't good. I said he's not good enough for Liverpool. And if you disagree with me, don't dare call me a donut, you little nobody. I'm the one that's sitting here, mate, with people listening to me. I'm the one that's addressing people with dignity and respect. So you can fuck off and start your own little YouTube channel, Princess, and go do what you want to do. But I guarantee you, Princess, I have forgotten more about football than you'll ever know. So fuck off and stop annoying me, you little twat. Mitrovic, are you smoking crack or something? Mitrovic is finished. Mitrovic is a championship level player. There's some real absolutely ridiculous comments in here, by the way, tonight. I don't know where these lunatics are coming from. Lukaku won't be going anywhere except Inter Milan, mate. He's really established himself there. Barea is an interesting one. We had been linked with Nicola Barea, and somebody who is amazing. Himself and Martinez, they'd be the type of strikers that I think Liverpool should look at, the type of players. Obviously Barea in a midfielder. But yeah, he's quality. And I have seen our name linked to him. What does donut even mean? Well, it means, mate, that I have something that he doesn't have, or I'll be getting something that he never get, which is his fucking hole. Ronaldo. Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, we're going to sign Ronaldo. You can't run around, but we're going to sign him. Odegaard is an interesting one. Arsenal want to sign him permanently, no doubt about that. A price tag of around 40 million has been mentioned for him, and you know that Liverpool have tracked Odegaard for a very long time. Before he made the move to Real Madrid at the age of 16, Liverpool tried to get him. And I wouldn't be surprised if we were interested in that conversation again. And somebody who ticks a lot of boxes. So I'd have no issues with that one. Ollie Watkins. Again, you're back to the same story of English. At an English club, you're going to pay a massive tax, if you want to call it that, for an English player. I love his work rate, Ollie Watkins. And a lot of people, raise their eyebrows when Aston Villa paid as much as they did to sign him from Brentford. But He does have a bit about Ollie Watkins. I do. He's not afraid to get stuck in, covers a lot of ground. But again, I think you're talking about somebody there who you get better value elsewhere. Would Liverpool ever sign Alfonso Davies? They wouldn't sell him, mate. Do you honestly think that Bayern Munich are going to sell him? There's no way they'd sell him. They're looking to keep building. Isco is that name, isn't it? CYX, that just keeps getting thrown around every summer. It's like Real Madrid have wanted rid of that lad for 3 years now. And yeah, he stays at Real Madrid. So, and Dybala is another one of those names that keeps getting floated around that never goes anywhere. Do I think Mbappe is back on? I don't know if it ever was on, Connor, but I think that Real Madrid won't be able to afford him. And as I said, part of Florentino Perez's master plan here was that he wanted to get Mbappe and he wanted to get Haaland, which is why he wanted that Super League money. Calvert-Lewin. Why would Liverpool try and sign Everton's best player? And why on earth do you think Everton, moving to a shiny new stadium that they're wanting to build, trying to progress and get Champions League, brought in Carlo Ancelotti, they're not going to sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Icardi, I don't think he's good enough for Liverpool, to be honest with you. Genuinely don't. I've seen him play in both Italy and in France, and I still don't think he's good enough for Liverpool. Suarez is an interesting one. I mean, I've said this before. He's finished when it comes to running and stuff like that. If you've watched him in Atleti, he knows where the goal is. He'll always be able to sniff one out, but he's not fit as he used to be, Luis Suarez. But if you offered me getting rid of Divock Origi and bringing in Luis Suarez for a season while we wait and see how the market settles down, I wouldn't be against it. Depay, he's going to go to Barcelona as well on a free transfer. Son, nah, not going to leave Spurs again. Zlatan, he's fucking 106 at this point. Verratti, too injury prone. One of my favourite midfielders. Absolutely love Marco Verratti. Everything, the complete midfielder in my opinion. Wonderfully gifted player. Somebody who I love at Liverpool before he went to PSG, and he's had a lot of injuries, and you know he usually can't get through a season without a few injuries, but a wonderfully gifted player. Erdogan Kikir, again, somebody put in, yes, we've been linked with him today yet again, but so have 8 other teams, and we've been linked with Erdogan Kikir, who by the way is the Trabzonspor goalkeeper over in Turkey, for quite a long time. I mean, it was only last summer, I think, that one of his former managers came out and said from what he'd been told that deal had been agreed. Martinelli from Arsenal we looked at. We tried to get Martinelli previously. Vinicius Jr., mate, look, he tore us apart down that left-hand side when he was playing for Real. But again, Real aren't going to want to get rid of one of their best young players. It's the ageing stars on high wages that they'll want to move on. Leon Bailey is one that I don't even think, from the last I seen, now this granted wasn't this season, it was the season before. I haven't watched much of Leverkusen this season. But Bailey seemed to be somebody who was only getting a start every second game or so when I was watching, or brought on as an impact substitute. Buendia or Cantwell, again, Norwich just coming back up to the Premier League. I'd be astonished if they were looking to sell. Cantwell, again, somebody who we'd looked at previously. McGinn. Do you know I keep underrating John McGinn? I really do. I think that lad deserves a lot more credit than he gets, because he is a tidy footballer, McGinn. He really is. Ansu Fati won't be going away from Barcelona, mate. No, they'll be keeping him there. John Joe Shelby's return. You have him. Me. Here, look. I'm Shelby. There you go. Look, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I'm going to leg it and go over to Mundo Sporto now and do a watch-along of Leicester's game against West Bromwich Albion. There is a link right pinned to the top of the chat right now if you want to go over and join me. I'll be starting there in about 6 or 7 minutes' time. Hopefully, Leicester drops some points, but we'll wait and see. West Brom obviously still fighting for survival at the minute. It's looking increasingly unlikely that Sam Allardyce will be able to pull a rabbit out of the hat. But before you head off, ladies and gentlemen, just do me that one favour. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video. I will be back tomorrow. Earlier on today, I recorded my preview for the Newcastle game. So that's going to be coming out tomorrow. My predicted 11, my score prediction. And I caught up with Leon from Boyle Sports for a chat around the Super League and for some betting tips as well. Thank you to you guys for tuning in. I hope to see you in a few minutes over at Mundo Sporto. Hit that subscribe button for me before you head off. Drop a like on the video. And look, again, thank you to all of you. I hope you have a lovely weekend. You have no idea how much we appreciate your support. You have no idea how happy that you've made us getting that 100k. We love each and every one of you. We hope all your families are safe. If you're going to Anfield, try and exercise as much caution as you can.